So to make the first recipe, we're going to take some cooked black beans and just mash them until they're a bit smoother with a fork. And then add some salsa. I just added this one, it's a little bit runny, so it would help me mash the black beans a little bit smoother, but any salsa that you have and like will work. Then just spread it onto a tortilla in as thin of a layer as you can, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but just do your best. And then I added a line of tomatoes, lettuce, vegan cheese, and then I rolled it up tightly, kind of like I was making sushi. Then to cut it, I cut it into a few bigger pieces, and then I cut each of those in half, just so that I kind of made them all even. Then I just added some apples and grapes. And to make sure that the apples don't get brown, you can always just add some lime or lemon juice on top. Now we are going to make the cashew cheese dip. 3/4 of a cup of cashews, 3/4 of a cup of water, 6 tablespoons of nutritional yeast, 2 teaspoons of cumin, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and blend that up. You can also add some salt and pepper to taste if you would like that. If you don't have a super high-speed blender, you want to soak the cashews in water overnight just so that they soften up and they will blend smoother. But if you have a Vitamix or anything like that, you don't have to do that. It should look like this once it's done, a really thick, creamy consistency. Then get some corn chips. I'm just taking these basil flavored corn chips. They're super good. They're from Pete's Fine Foods. And you're going to take some of your cashew cheese dip. It's so creamy and delicious. And put that in the littlest container of your bento box. Then I added some salsa next to that. For the rainbow wrap, just get a large tortilla, spread some vegan mayo on it. This is optional, of course, but if you like vegan mayo, then put some on. And then put on your favorite sauce. So I added some barbecue sauce, but you could also do sweet chili sauce or hot sauce or anything like that. Then I added some strips of pan-fried tempeh, and the way that I did this is I just put some strips of tempeh in a pan with a little bit of oil, but you could also bake it or just dry fry it in a non-stick pan. Then I added some lettuce, yellow peppers, carrots, tomato, red cabbage, and some avocado. So you can see I tried to use all the colors of the rainbow except for blue. And then just roll it up super tightly and cut it in half. Then on the side, I just added some leftover chopped veggies that I had. For the second box, you're going to take a can of coconut milk and scoop the coconut cream off the top of it. Then add a little bit of maple syrup and cinnamon and stir it up. If possible, you want to refrigerate this overnight because it will thicken up a lot. And then just peel a banana and slice it into coins. And then put those into your bento box with the sweet coconut cream. And then on the side of that, I just added some granola. So we're kind of making like a deconstructed banana parfait. So the way I would eat this is to just dump the granola on top of the bananas, kind of spread it all out in the bento box, and then pour the coconut cream on top. for our next meal, we're going to take some washed kale and just break it up into smaller pieces with your hands. Then sprinkle on about a tablespoon of lemon juice, a drizzle of maple syrup, and then you're going to, it's called massaging it, but basically you're just going to squeeze it a lot with your hands to make the kale less tough and less bitter. And then just make sure it's all coated and set it aside. Then in another bowl, take some cooked quinoa, some chickpeas, and some sliced apple, and then I added some curry powder on top of that. I also squeezed some lime over it, and then just stir it up. Then I just flattened that out so that it wasn't spilling over the sides. And I added 2 of these cookie dough bliss balls. So the way I made these is just by taking dates and cashews and then some vanilla and chocolate chips and blending all of that together. These ones are so amazing. They taste, honestly, quite a bit like cookie dough. I think it's the vanilla. Then I thought it needed a little bit more color, so I just added some diced tomatoes on top and a wedge of lime. So going back to the kale salad, all I did was add some purple cabbage as well as some blueberries. Then I dumped that into the bento box and I added some extra blueberries on top because they are so good and they go really well with the sweetness of the salad. Okay, getting started, get a loaf of your favorite bread. I used this, I think it was called Belgian loaf. I don't really know. And then you're going to cut it in this diamond pattern. You don't want to make the chunks too small, but you know, just kind of mimic what I'm doing here. And then just put it on a parchment lined baking tray. And then get 2 tablespoons of vegan butter melted, along with a tablespoon of finely chopped basil. I highly recommend adding minced garlic or garlic powder to this. I left that out and I definitely regretted it. So you're going to smooth this all over the top and in the cracks. And then you're going to take some vegan cheese. I'm using the Daiya mozzarella shreds and just tuck that into all the little cracks. Then you're going to bake it at 350 for about 10 to 15 minutes until it's all melty and toasty, and that is it. For the brownies, in a food processor, you're going to add 1 cup of walnuts and 1 cup of cashews and process those until they are a fine crumble. So then just set those aside for a minute, and you don't have to wash out the food processor or anything. Add 2.5 cups of pitted medjool dates. These ones are super caramelly and super gooey and just perfect for this recipe. So you're going to process those until they are pretty blended, and then add 3/4 cup of cocoa, a little bit of salt. I'm using this pink salt, and then add in the crushed nuts. So then you're just going to process that until it is all smooth and looks like a thick, very malleable brownie batter. So then you're going to put that into a baking pan lined with some parchment paper and just start pushing it down as flat as you can with your hands. And then to make the edges, because I didn't want mine to be too thin, I actually just folded in each side of the parchment paper to make straight edges like this, and this also helped compact it a bit. And then just put that in the fridge for about 15 minutes and then take it out, and I flipped mine over so that the top was perfectly flat like this.
And then I spread some icing onto 1/2. You definitely don't need to include icing. You could also make like a healthy avocado icing if you want. I just made regular because that's what I know how to make, but you guys have seen me make icing before. I can link a recipe below though if that helps. So then I just took it out and cut it up, and that is it. You can store these in the fridge for a few days, or you can even freeze them and they will be amazing. A super cool potato hack that my friend Anya Snapchatted me a while ago was using an apple peeler or using an apple cutter for potato wedges, and this works so well. Basically all you do is just cut it like you would an apple, but because potatoes are not perfectly round like apples, you will have some that are a lot bigger than others, and this is just a bit of a problem because they won't cook evenly, like they wouldn't be cooked when the other ones were. So just take a knife and cut up the ones that are too big so that they're all a fairly similar size. Then just put that in a big mixing bowl. And it's totally optional to use oil. I added a little bit, but the spices will stick no matter what because the potatoes are wet. Then you're just going to add some paprika. This is probably about 2 tablespoons. Some dried herbs like parsley. I absolutely love using parsley, and some salt and pepper. Then just toss them up to get all coated and put them on a parchment-lined baking tray to bake in the oven at 425 for about 40 minutes, flipping halfway through. The dips that we used were spicy mayo made by using Vegenaise and sriracha, as well as sweet chili sauce that I just bought, and ketchup.